Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through the industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Marcy Morrison. She is a corporate wellness consultant, and we'll understand from her how she helps wellness professionals get their programs into corporations. Welcome to the show, Marcy.
Well, thank you so much for having me on your show.
You are welcome to the show, Marcy. You are welcome to India in this online form. I'm sure.
I'm very excited because this year is the year I want to take this entire business global. So India, I have some people who are in my group who are from India. So it's a really interesting idea. And we had to figure out the time a little bit this morning because I wasn't exactly sure what time I was coming on, but we did it. Thank you for responding to me so quickly, and I'm looking forward to talking with you and your audience.
Wonderful, wonderful. No, it was perfect. Perfectly timed. I'm sure this is the prime time in India, though this is not a news show, but that's what it is. They're in the mainstream media, but I'm sure a lot of people will benefit from what we are going to talk about. We'll talk about how professionals can get started in corporate wellness. So my first question to you, Marcy, is to understand this from a common person's perspective. What is this corporate wellness all about, and who are corporate wellness professionals? Who comes under this corporate professionals thing?
So corporate wellness is a probably bigger concept in the United States than it is worldwide, because in the United States, we get our health care and really health insurance from our employers. So we have to buy into healthcare and health insurance. So someone like me comes into an organization to help their employees and the employees' family members stay healthy and well, have a good mindset. I teach them things like proper nutrition and how to manage weight and how to exercise on a regular basis and how to meditate and keep their minds healthy and manage stress and sleep and all of the things that can make employees, better parents, better family members, better team members. And if you think about being healthy and well, it's really the foundation of everyone's life. It should be, at least. And so we focus on helping these organizations help their employees stay healthy and well and get healthy and well if they don't have that base level of health and wellness.
Right, Marcy. Even in India, it is picking up. A lot of corporates do provide wellness facilities to their employees. So I just wanted to understand, one is as a corporate wellness consultant, one is the thing that you manage the insurance part. One is the people who can buy group insurance and all that insurance through a corporate program. The other is the day-to-day wellness, as you said, in terms of weight loss and every other thing. So insurance part is under the consultant, or then, and in terms of getting professionals on board, you can't do all the things yourself, so you get to have professionals. Is that what it is all about, where you would get a yoga teacher, a trainer, or someone else in a different form, so that they can continue to have programs for employees? I want to get much more understanding on this part, so that others can also know, okay, this is coming under what I do, also comes under corporate wellness, and I can start approaching corporates.
You nailed it, because that's what I do. As the consultant, I can't do it all. You're exactly right. I do a lot of programs myself. So let's just say a group of employees in one location wants to start doing yoga in the afternoons. I don't teach yoga. So I will bring in a yoga instructor. That yoga instructor gets paid by the organization. So think about this. There are employees in all organizations. Some are very well paid, and then there are others who aren't very well paid. It's just the way organizations work. So imagine those people who are very poorly paid and really need health and wellness programs. They now can afford to go to yoga on a Monday afternoon or a Monday morning, whereas they may not have been able to afford a program like that, or take a weight management program or a healthy cooking class. those types of programs we deliver to these organizations, because in the long run, it's going to help employees stay healthy and well. And healthy employees are more productive employees. They have less absenteeism. They have less stress. Believe me, I've been doing this for about 13 years, and we've seen dramatic increases in just overall job satisfaction, healthy living through these worksite wellness programs, because we're able to reach so many people through an organization, and those people don't have to come up with huge dollars to participate in these programs.
Right, Marcy. And that is where the services of professionals are required. How do you know which is a good professional on a particular thing? Like for yoga, there are so many yoga teachers.
Right.
Like for a nutritionist, there are so many nutritionists. Like so many other things that one may want to introduce in their organization. So is it based on references? Is it based on some database? Because it's good business for professionals.
Yes.
So how do you know who is the best for the organization and as well as the cost wise? And how do professionals get into this system? Because it can be good business as well as brand building and publicity for them. How does it work?
All right, so let's start with the first one. I find say it's a yoga instructor, something that requires on-site. So the yoga instructor is going to teach on-site. I will ask for references from employees. Now, a lot of employees go to a yoga instructor and they have them and they love them. If they go to that instructor, they're within that community. So if it's an on-site person, I have a small area that I have to pull from, because they have to be able to travel and show up on site. However, some yoga instructors do really great programs online, which allows people to do the program wherever they are, whenever they want to do it. So that broadens my reach and allows me to find people from outside just one small geographic area. But for the most part, I ask the employees, do you have a great yoga instructor that you love, that you think would love to work with these organizations? And typically they say yes. And I do a little research and I do just an interview with them. But my favorite thing is when someone just cold calls me and says, hey, I live in the area. I have a program. And this is what I do say for all people who want to get into wellness. Pick up the phone and call the organization and tell them what you do, because we are always looking for really good people to help us run these wellness programs. And there are so many wellness professionals out there, health coaches, yoga instructors, fitness instructors, healthy cooking people, mindset people who are desperately looking for clients. So this is a perfect fit and a perfect match oftentimes, if they just know how to do it, know how to create the programs that are specific to an organization, and know how to get in the door.
Right. And that is what a lot of people, a lot of professionals, health and wellness professionals would like to understand from you. They are very good at what they are doing. They are providing services outside, but corporate is corporate. And you get a lot of business, continuous business, as well as it can build a good brand for yourself if you are working with a good brand. So how do they get started? You talked about making that call.
Okay.
Who do they call if they don't have any corporate wellness program? How does a simple person, a simple wellness professional get started and get into that big league?
Okay. So first I would say, find people in your own network. So you know many people who work for organizations, right? So you would first say, especially to a client, like I used to own a fitness center, and I would ask one of my clients, if I still owned it, you work for ABC company. I would love to provide a program for your organization. Can you give me the name of the decision maker for that? Maybe the HR person is typically who it is, but you start with your warm leads, your warm contacts, people who know you, people who work with you, and ask them if they can introduce you. Now, if you want to just cold call a company, I always say do a little bit of research on the company. So go to their website. And a lot of times when you go to the website, you look and see what that company does, but go on their jobs page or their careers page, because on that page, that company's bragging about what it's like to work here. And there you'll see whether they have wellness offerings or whether they have, a family-oriented company. And they'll oftentimes have the HR director's name and phone number right there. So if you want to cold call a company, do a little bit of research, check out the careers page or the jobs listings page, and find out who that HR director is or who's doing the hiring. They're oftentimes the same person who brings the wellness programs to the employees. If they aren't, they will direct you to the correct person.
Right, right. Now, in terms of when you are pitching for a company like that one wants to, then what do you present to them or talk to them? Should
Right.
you talk to them about what you are good at, or
Yes.
should you talk to them what they may need? How does it work? You got only one phone call at
That's
one
right.
time. So how do you decide
Yes.
what to talk about? What and how do you pitch yourself as a professional?
All right. So this is such a good question, because remember, the first your program is for the employees, right? So maybe it's weight management for a group of employees. Okay, so that the employees are going to want that program, but you first have to get through that first gatekeeper. So why is your program? Let's just stay with the weight management concept. Why does a company care if their employees are at a healthy weight? Why do they care about a weight loss program? Well, first of all, their employees want to see it. So that's number one. The employees want to see that program. But number two, people who have weight issues, they don't want to have weight issues, but they also have more absenteeism, because sometimes, that extra weight can cause things like metabolic syndrome and type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure. So first you message that employer saying, my program can help your employees with blank. Then I tell you to give them a big statistic about, let's just say, absenteeism from diseases like heart disease and type 2 diabetes, absenteeism, going to the doctor for these things, absenteeism because you don't feel well because you're poorly managing those particular preventable diseases. So you give them a big statistic about how that can affect their business, how much it's costing their business. And then you say, my blank, whatever my program is, my 6-week weight management program can help your employees and their family members blank, whatever it is that you do. And I think this program would be a wonderful fit for your employees, and I think it would be a wonderful fit for your organization. So remember, you're first selling to that organization. Why is it important to them? Then your next step, once you get in the door, because I have high confidence that you can, then you've got, let's just say a company has 500 employees or 1,000 employees. Your name is going to be delivered to 1,000 people. So if you do a program and you're going to get paid for this, even if it's just a workshop, always have that next program ready to go, because the organization, if they like you, they'll hire you again. But then just remember, all of those employees might want to work with you further after this program. So now you've got this big funnel almost that you're being paid to present an entire audience of new people. It's a win-win for everyone.
Right, right. A lot of these professionals think that, oh, this company is too big and that they may not want a person like me. Whatever the reasons, confidence issues, maybe they have not worked in big organizations with big organizations before. So how does that work? Do companies prefer individual professionals, or do they prefer more an organization to hire for services like this, where there are say 4 or 5 professionals together, much more bigger than a single solo sort of an organized entrepreneurship proper thing?
Well, it depends on it. I always answer the questions like this. It depends, right? So one of the things, if you're an individual going into an organization that say has 5,000 employees or 10,000 employees, I worked with one organization that had 45,000 employees. You have to be able to deliver your program to that many people, because now it will never happen. But what if on the slight chance that 1,000 people joined your Zoom call? Well, you better be prepared for that level of success if you're going into a company that's really big. I highly recommend you start with a smaller company. You can look at the company size. There's I'll give you the link to my Facebook group where I teach this. There are things like Indeed, and there's one called Zippia, where you can look at the size of an organization in your area. And I also recommend starting in your area. You can become global eventually, but you got to start out somewhere. And I recommend highly you start with a smaller organization that maybe doesn't have a huge budget. So if you come in with a decently priced program, they're going to love it and jump on it. Then you're going to use that organization to recommend your program. So the next organization can be a bit bigger. Now you've learned what it feels like to have 200 people on a call or 200 people join your program. You want to set yourself up for success. So just kind of step that ladder up in terms of size of an organization if you can. Listen, if you get lucky out of the gate and you get an organization with 10,000 people who want you to work with them, be prepared to work for them more than once because they're going to want you back, and really be prepared for success. So, when you're doing your podcast, you check everything before it starts. You practice with other people. You get if it's going to be done on Zoom, you make sure you have enough capacity for a lot of people. You know how to share your screen. You like little things like that have to be done in advance because like you said, you're going to get one shot at the phone call, but then once you do the program, if you do a great job, you're in. If you do a bad job, move on. Because, you want to set yourself up for really big success when, and all of your audience say this to yourselves, when you start working with these organizations, just set yourself up for success.
Right, Marcy. It's a global world nowadays. And a lot of organizations, I may be in India, we are talking, you are somewhere else, we are talking. The same way organizations can be anywhere.
Yes.
A lot of people work remotely. The service provider or the health professional or wellness professional might be anywhere else.
Yes.
They may get restricted by the thought that this organization may only be working, is based in US. I am not in the US. How do I find out, or how do I present my services that is, they may require online? Should it be, shot in the dark, or how do I gather that information that I know that, okay, these people might need a person who is not based in their location, but they are ready to work with that. A lot of world is online today.
Right. No, that's the truth. But I do say again, I'm going to go back to, if you're just starting out, start closer to home. You have to get comfortable. I still probably am not comfortable cold calling Google saying, right, I have a program or some, I've worked with Fortune 500 companies, but I'm not going to cold call them. They have gatekeeper after gatekeeper after gatekeeper. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to get tired if you start out with an enormous global organization. You can get there because once you start doing this, it starts to get easier and better. And what happens is you have this marketing materials, and then you start putting on these organizations that you've worked with. I provided programs for this one and this one and this one. And so just an organization, or let's just go back to how this can build your brand. Say you're a health coach who helps people with gut health, and you've worked for an organization. Your one-to-one group is going to be saying, wow, this, if XYZ company believes in her, she's got to be really good. So your brand is suddenly amplified just by working with organizations, and it doesn't necessarily matter what size they are. If you want to work for global organizations, you have to have something to deliver to their employees on a big scale. And you can do it, but don't start out there. What I find is when people start out with some enormous organization trying to get in, unless they know someone who can directly introduce them to that particular decision maker from that particular company, it's going to be very hard, and they're going to get frustrated, and they're going to start getting that imposter syndrome. And so I don't recommend that. I recommend starting with a warm lead if you possibly can. That is someone you know who works somewhere. You probably have, well, you are out there in, you're doing what you're doing. You probably see thousands of entrepreneurs. You probably have at least 250 contacts who would be happy to introduce you to their HR person if you wanted to do a program for an organization. So you have to start thinking that way. And then you can say to that person, say they're a client of yours, you can say, you know, you'll get more of me and it'll be free because the organization is going to pay for it. So that gives them like, well, I want more of you for free. So great, let's put you in my company.
Right, right. In terms of services, some of the things that companies are doing is there on their website. But several of the other things that I may be doing, it's not on any company's website. How do I get into, say, for example, in terms of wellness, there are so many things one can do, or in terms of any other services, like in terms of pottery, someone might be doing very good things on that, and the organization is interested but it's not listed there. How do I present that part of my service to an organization?
Well, like I mentioned before, you're going to tell them how important your service is to people's health, to people's well-being, to
Okay.
people's mental health, to their stress. And your program can help their employees with whatever it is you do. You explain to them how you do it, how you deliver it, what your outcome is at the end, you know, what these employees can expect to see after they work with you for 6 weeks. And again, why is it important to this organization? Well, every organization wants to have healthy, happy employees who know how to manage their stress, who, you know, who aren't sick all the time, who aren't absent all the time, who enjoy working there, who feel like that organization is investing in them. So use words like that when you're reaching out, and your expertise can fit. Listen, I one time had a hula hoop expert who did hula hoop fitness come in and do. Your expertise will work. I have had, sometimes I'm almost like, at this point, I think, wow, the more interesting, the more different a program is, the more likely I am to say, I want to talk to that person. Your expertise can fit in an organization, and they are looking for all kinds of things. So if you're just, you know, a health coach doing gut health, that fits. But if you're doing something really out of the box, that's also going to fit. And it's, you can add that fun flavor to your program. And I think that's really great to present to an organization as well. Do not let any imposter syndrome get in the way, because I personally think it's easier to work with organizations than it is to work one-on-one with clients.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you might be doing something different, and a lot of organizations need to present something different. As a wellness consultant, also, you would want to take something different to the
Definitely.
people within the organization.
Definitely. I would love, for, say, people from India, here's what I would love. Teach us simple things. We can use the medicinal spices that come from your regions, and those recipes that have been passed down for generations from your mother, grandmother, great grandmother. Teach that. If you want to be global, teach something like that to people all over the world, because we, especially in the United States, use salt, pepper. You know,
Right.
we need international cooking demonstrations and the things that come with being international, not just an American wellness person delivering things. That's always great too. But just think about what you can deliver and how beneficial it can be to the employees that you're delivering it to, from anywhere that you live and anywhere that you think is, you have really, really healthy people who can teach things that are very different for us here. And remember, you know, and I have things I can teach to people who live where you are. It's, you know, like you said, it's a global community now, but let's share what makes us special from our particular regions, our countries, our part of the world. You know, do lean into that part of your programs.
Absolutely. Well explained. And so but there is so much to understand about these things for professionals, and you have your wellness consulting programs, your course membership. So tell us about that so that people know more how they can learn from you, what they can learn from you, what is the best way they can connect with you and take their, wellness career, professional career much, much further ahead.
Okay, well, So the people who like health coaches, anyone in the wellness profession can, I have a Facebook group, and it's small because this, what I'm talking to you about, is my passion project. My wellness consulting business, I've worked with 150,000 employees so far. I'm always growing that one. That's my career where I make the most money doing what I do. This helping wellness professionals came from so many people asking me, how did you get into this? How did you do this? So I started a course and then in a membership. But the first way you can work with me is just jump on my Facebook group, which is called Corporate Coaches Collaborative. Long word, but it's really a collaborative area where corporate coaches can get together, share best practices. I share tons of free information in there. And then from there, they can join my membership or take my course or both. I also do a little bit of one-on-one, maybe once a week. I'll help people just for an hour, get themselves up to speed. But most of it, I would just say start with joining that Facebook group. Because there's a huge amount of information in there. And then if an organization wants to work with me, my company is called Healthy Fit Family. So healthyfitfamily.com. Organizations can find me, and I do a lot of training. So if an XYZ organization calls me and says, hey, we want to start a wellness program, I train teams within that organization to help run it. So you've got this grassroots group of people promoting the wellness program, and then you got someone like me teaching them how to do it. So those are the two ways that you work with me.
Right. And you plan to take this whole consulting programs to the international market this year.
Yes.
How do you plan to do that? Who are the people who can connect with you on this part? Because then a lot of people outside the US may want to understand all these things for themselves.
Oh, yeah. Well, the decision makers who deal with employees, it's usually the HR director, the human resource director. They sometimes call them, I don't know, the director of population health is, in our country, it can be the HR director or what's called the benefits administrator, someone who administers those health insurance and other benefits to the employees that the employees pay for. Big insurance companies hire me. That's typically who pays me or partly pays me. But any organization who would like to start a wellness program, I don't care how small they are, because we have a program that can fit almost any budget. And I truly believe that is my passion. My goal is to deal with 1 million people and their health and wellness over the next few years. And I need not only health coaches to help me get all of this out, but I need organizations who want their employees to have access to programs like this. I need them to reach out to me too, because we have a very unhealthy world, as you know. We have a lot of stress, we have a lot of depression, we have a lot of heart disease and diabetes and all these issues. And we can just get to them and help them learn healthy lifestyle changes that can change that and flip that switch and get generations of people healthier. That's my goal.
Wonderful, wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you so much. It was great to see you.